and welcome to another edition of the Dhabas of Democracy, our election road trip that has taken us from Kanyakumari. We're on our way to Kashmir. So far, we have been on the road for 26 days, covered 7 states, including Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, Maharashtra, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh. We have driven 6,000 kilometers and we have tried our best to bring you voices from the ground along with political newsmakers. As we continue our journey towards Kashmir, every day of this election campaign brings unexpected twists and turns. In fact, some would say that rhetoric more than once has veered off script. From Sam Pitroda to Sandeshkhali, from Ambani Adani, and this time the Prime Minister invoking them, to Robert Vadra talking about a Rajya Sabha route. There's a lot to talk about. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo Story. Our focus today continues to be decoding who stands where at the end of 3 phases. As we travel across India, one of the things that we have picked up is that even Modi fans argue that the issues that matter to them are unemployment, livelihood. They give a thumbs up to the Modi government for what they call India's enhanced stature in the world. But they also want the government to do more on jobs and economic issues. The one thing that we can say safely, and we haven't yet traveled to Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, is that the Ram Mandir issue has not, at least anecdotally, it doesn't seem to be much of an electoral issue. The Prime Minister, in his speeches, he has brought up Mukesh Ambani and Gautam Adani to lash out at the Congress. Not many would have expected that. Rahul Gandhi has hit back, saying that it's a sign of nervousness and anxiety in the BJP circles. What do we make of the Prime Minister suddenly referring to Ambani and Adani? Sam Pitroda, yet again, has come with his share of embarrassments for the Congress party. He's now been asked to quit the Congress post after his appalling language. Meanwhile, in Sandeshkhali, a very, very dramatic twist as one of the women withdraws her rape complaint, saying that she was asked to sign off on a blank sheet of paper by a local BJP worker. She says that the rape never took place. She's taken back her complaint. This is now a full-blown war between the BJP and the opposition. And for those who thought that the election was a done deal, well, every day, as I said, brings many surprises. So who's ahead in this war of narratives? And remember that this isn't about winning the narrative on social media, on Twitter or X, on Facebook or Instagram. It's about winning the imagination and the confidence of the people of India. Let's introduce our guests on the program today as we look at these many different dramatic twists and turns. Shahid Siddiqui is with us. Welcome to the program, Shahid Bhai. Also joining us is Tavleen Singh, who is often an equal opportunity offender, gets it in the neck from trolls of both camps, and that's how I think any good journalist should be and suffer. We're also joined by Saba Naqvi, who's a well-known author and journalist. Saba has some very interesting work on the energy level of the RSS and the BJP worker on the ground and what impact that might have on the election. And also joining us is Rahul Eshwar, a supporter of the Prime Minister, but some would say with caveats. And as I said, it's been a 24 hours full of dramatic twists and turns from Sam Pitroda to Sandeshkhali. Some would say one is a bigger issue than the other, but in the war of narratives, everything counts. In election season, everything becomes big. So let's start getting reactions, Tavleen. Let's look at the big picture. We'll break down some of these issues individually. But if you were to look at, you had a tweet yesterday saying Sam Pitroda seems to want to see Prime Minister Modi return as Prime Minister. Do you really think it matters as an election issue? What Sam Pitroda said, he's out of the way anyway. But do you think it's an election issue? It was a clear embarrassment, but is it a voting issue?
It's in such a long election, the issues change literally every week. So a week ago, it seemed as though the narrative was being led by the Prime Minister. This week, I think he's made his first big mistake. Sam Pitroda, I don't consider that important at all. But I think that his reference to Ambani Adani and the sacks of money and, the hysteria in his voice when he said it has puzzled. By the way, I'm in Bombay at the moment. And a lot of businessmen are very puzzled by why he would say what he did. And I actually think that that Rahul and Priyanka have kind of, really used what he said to their very strong advantage by saying, okay, if you know that these guys are sending money to people in tempos, why aren't you sending the ED, etc., to investigate? So, and I think that Priyanka has said something like, you tell us how much they give you and we'll tell you how much they gave us. But I cannot understand. I mean, I'm totally flabbergasted by why he would make this, into his narrative for this week, because it makes no sense. So to me, this is his first mistake. Sam Pitroda is relevant only, in my view, in the sense that he always manages to put his foot in his mouth. And, this time the Congress has had enough. I mean, this man has done it for 2 elections now. And I can't even understand why he would be an advisor. He's in his 80s. Rahul Gandhi needs to find younger advisors.
So it's interesting because one of your columns in the Indian Express, in another context, not in the Ambani Adani context, spoke about how the Prime Minister, with all his advantages, was making mistakes in his campaign. And you've just identified what you call the first big one. Now, we all heard the Prime Minister's speech. Rahul Gandhi, in a late night comment, did respond. And I think, Tavleen, even as a critic of the Gandhis, you think that they've sort of got ammo that they've used well. Let's listen to what Rahul Gandhi said as the Prime Minister invoked Mukesh Ambani and Gautam Adani to lash out at the Congress party. Can we play it, please?
नमस्कार मोदी जी, थोड़ा सा घबरा गए क्या? नॉर्मली आप बंद कमरों में अदानी जी, अंबानी जी की बात करते हो. पहली बार आपने पब्लिक में अदानी, अंबानी बोला. और आपको ये भी मालूम कि ये टेम्पो में पैसा देते हैं. क्या ये आपका पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है क्या? एक काम कीजिए, सीबीआई को इनके पास भेजिए ना, पूरी जानकारी करिए, इंक्वायरी कराइए, जल्दी से जल्दी कराइए, घबराइए मत मोदी जी. और मैं देश को फिर से दोहरा के कह रहा हूं, जितना पैसा नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इनको दिया है ना, उतना ही पैसा हम हिंदुस्तान के गरीब लोगों को देने जा रहे हैं. महालक्ष्मी योजना, पहली नौकरी पक्की योजना, इन योजनाओं के माध्यम से करोड़ों लाखपति बनाएंगे हम. इन्होंने 22 अरबपति बनाए हैं, हम करोड़ों लाखपति बनाएंगे.
Okay, let's come out of this, please, and there let me get reactions. Tavleen, before I open it up, you want to react?
I already said that I think that the Priyanka and Rahul have actually have weaponized his speech to their advantage. I already said that. In this particular exchange on this issue, sounds more mature than Narendra Modi, which is really saying something.
And coming from you, it's especially something. So let's open it.
The Modi lots think I hate him, and so don't keep identifying me as I'm not on anyone's side.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, and I go through a lot of what you go through into a smaller measure. So I hear you. That our job is to analyze the facts. When someone does something, we call it for what it is, and let the camp say what they want to. But let's open it up. Let's start with what Tavleen Singh calls Modi's first mistake. Do you agree, Rahul Eshwar, as a fan of the Prime Minister? Rahul, can you hear me?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Two submissions. I'm a ardent admirer of Modi ji, but I like that Modi ji who has a friend Abbas and his mother will cook special things. In Eid, as Modi ji rightly says, I like that kind of Modi ji more. Who will definitely use Paigambar Muhammad, or when he comes to Kerala, I was great proud of the fact that we boast of the third oldest mosque in the world, according to our legend, called the Chairman Perumal Mosque. When he went to Saudi Arabia, he gave a gold replica of Chairman Perumal to Saudi Arabia. So this is the legacy as a Modi admirer that I would want to have. Second, I don't know whether it is a failure or something, but even I was perplexed because Ambani and Adani, at least in public consciousness, totally belongs to Modi ji's camp, and Modi ji invoking their name. The first reaction that came to my mind was, if the PM is saying so, have they turned sides or have they gone to the other side? Coupled with many media anchors or who are either shifting or media houses shifting their position. So earlier, even Barkhaji's show, I was thinking my estimation is around 250 seats for BJP. So suddenly I began to see the whole 400 wave may not be that realistic. That was the honest thing that was coming to my mind. I don't know whether it is failure or not, but I believe Modi ji, if I can just put the whole context in one sentence, permit me. See, our Christian brothers have a Sunday for their own consolidation. Our Muslim brothers have a Friday for their socio-spiritual gathering. Since we Hindus don't have that, we many times need a Muslim enemy. So they always scare of Muslim enemy is played up. People know that that is not a genuine thing. Even in Kerala, we have had things like Kerala story, this whole love jihad stuff, or even today, with due respect to Amit Shah, the tweet where they said Hindu population is dipping. People like me have been flagging it for years altogether. Where the real issue is our fertility rate, which is below replacement fertility rate. But during election, to create a sense of other, maybe good politics, but in the long term, I think people will understand and see through, with due respect.
Yeah, so you're talking, of course, about a government panel report on demographics, and I'm sure both Shahid and Saba and Tavleen will have things to say about this. Priyanka Gandhi was asked about this, Saba, on the campaign trail, and she said to the reporter, "ये सवाल किसने बोला आपको पूछने के लिए?" और ऊपर से आवाज आई होगी. So the timing, we can have a separate discussion. S.Y. Qureshi has written a whole book on this. In fact, he said that even by 2100, the Muslim population is estimated to be 18%. The 2011 census data is not available. But the fact is, what it says to me is that if 2014 was the vote for change, if 2019 was the national security election, is the BJP grasping for a central issue in this election? Is that what we're actually seeing unfold? I'm so sorry, I can't hear you. Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Who are you asking? Me?
Yes, Saba. Yes.
Okay,
Saba.
okay. So here's what I think. I want to pick up from what Rahul Eshwar said. Who is this for? Since I went to UP in the first, second and third phase, and I went to the RSS BJP office, in each case. Honestly, it's not a Hindu-Muslim election. Honestly, it is not. I'm not saying that the language Modi ji speaks is not spoken at the Shaka. So number one, first of all, he needed to forget about Vishwaguru. He said things which would amount to hate speech. If the election commission was not so did not wear blindfolded, if it had not been selected only by him, and if the process of selection, you have three officers very carefully hunted down and put into the election commission. Anyway, so Mr. Modi, first of all, what surprised me is the kind of wild stuff. Adani Ambani has come now. Every day there was Mangal Sutra. Who is snatching the Mangal Sutra? Then there was I had this hysterical vision of a cartoon. There's a bhais. One Congress is taken away, two bhais, one Congress is taking away, one giving it to a Muslim. Mangal Sutra, bhais to the Muslim. Then reservation comes in. And you honestly have anchors sitting there and discussing how Muslims get reservation, how they're going to get it. But I'll just say one thing to you. The reason why Rahul is sitting in the South, why the South population is not exploding, and why the North is, why delimitation is in the future, we all know it. Anyone with two brains who bothers to use it. The minute you get wealthier, the minute you belong to a higher caste, the minute you're more prosperous, your birth rate comes down. You know it. You travel all over India. You start going to Pasi community areas in central UP. They have 7-8 children. How long do those children live? Anyone who's poorer has a higher birth rate now. So do that with Brahmins and the rest. Do that with the Savarnas and the rest. But this country is obsessed with this lie of doing it only with the Muslim community, which is getting less representation, which has always had less representation than its numbers determine, population numbers. What you have now is a bizarre thing, because in UP, you have a very consistent removal of names from electoral rolls. Wherever there are two, wherever the BJP is also in power in the state, wherever it's also in power, along with the center, there is a persistent campaign to remove them from electoral rolls. It's been reported. It's not something I'm doing from the air. That Ashoka University researcher whose paper caused all that uproar and he left the university. What was it actually about? It was about scientific rigging in particular. It's a very technical piece, but he examines certain polling officers, certain polling booths, certain
But Saba,
demographics.
isn't there a contradiction in both saying that the opposition has showed pushback, there are pockets of pushback against Modi, the BJP is anxious, and then also saying, oh, actually it's not a fair
No, no,
electoral
I'm
process.
telling you, you are
Aren't these
saying,
things contradictory?
no, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that the BJP is losing the narrative because it is talking, the Prime Minister is saying wild things. Very simple. I'm saying it for the record. He's saying wild things about Muslims who are citizens of India. He's making allusions. He is committing. He's saying hate speech every day. I'm not afraid. I'm not at all somebody who tries to do a balancing here. If I think, and I'm telling you that his own cadre is not even picking up the signaling, even in UP, they're not. It's not a Hindu Muslim. You'll go there, you'll find out. It's not a Hindu Muslim. But what it is, it is a double engine sarkar. It is a state where the margins of victory were very large. I'll give you, I mean, I have put out a picture of one set of cadre. I met cadre in Fatehpur Sikri. I met them in Meerut. I went to the main Western UP. I've written about it in one of my columns in Frontline. I've described that office. There is a problem. They have probably lost the seat of Aligarh because of their own BJP versus BJP. The BJP is facing another problem because of so many inductees from outside also. I believe, Barkha, and I'm getting this feedback that the news from Maharashtra is terrible.
So I can tell you that I have traveled Maharashtra extensively, and I met so many people who were Modi admirers but felt that their sympathy was with Uddhav Thackeray because of what had happened to the Shiv Sena, and this is something that I've reported repeatedly. So you make an important point, but let's bring in Shahid Siddiqui here. Do you believe that? Okay, what did you make of the Prime Minister invoking Mukesh Ambani and Gautam Adani? Shahid, what triggered that, you think?
Look, Barkha, I feel that Mr. Modi lost the narrative from the day one. He did not realize that this is 2024, not 2019. And in 2024, this polarization is not there on the ground. There is no anti-Modi wave, but there is also no Modi wave in the country. I have moved around extensively, especially in UP, hinterland, and I have seen that among his hardcore supporters, they may say, Modi ji to bahut achhe hai, Modi ji theek hai, but we will not vote for BJP. Why you will not vote for BJP? Because he is not talking of the real issues which people are facing. So from the day one, he made a huge mistake of focusing on the Congress manifesto. Congress was not in a position to take its manifesto to the people, but it was Mr. Modi who took the manifesto to the people, and it became the focal point of discussion that what is there in the manifesto, whether manifesto is right or not, whether he will provide the jobs or not, whether he's going to give a Mangal Sutra. This Mangal Sutra thing helped Congress much more than anything else because people laughed at it. I have spoken to a lot of people on the ground, and people just laugh away when you tell them that Mangal Sutra ki khatra hai, aapko chala jayega, and even women, they laugh at it. And then creating this fear of Muslims is not working anymore. Every day he's coming with a new theory that Muslims will come and eat you up. Their population is increasing. The reservation will go to them. Congress will take away everything. The mistake he's making is that he's saying that Congress may come to power. India may come to power. Earlier, people were thinking that there is no question of India coming to power at all. It was not in their minds. It just did not exist. The question was whether BJP will get 400 seats or 300 or less than 300.
But why did he speak about two industrialists who he's often been accused of being very close to?
He seems to be extremely frustrated. He realized that the narrative today is Mengai and employment, and Rahul Gandhi is saying it is because of Adani and Ambani, and Modi stands with Adani and Ambani, and all the money and all the resources are going to Adani and Ambani. And on the ground, this is true on the ground. People, even BJP people, believe that most of the benefits are going to Adani and Ambani, and therefore I have to reverse it. I have to show that no, they don't stand with me, they stand with Congress. He's trying to do that, but it's in a very foolish way he's doing it. It's not working.
I slightly disagree with you based on my travels. I don't think anyone was talking about Adani or Ambani till the Prime Minister made it center stage. I found nobody.
Maybe
can I tell you from my travels, people didn't mention two things to me. Nobody mentioned Ram Mandir. I'm just saying this. Nobody mentioned Ram Mandir till I asked. Nobody mentioned it. And again, I want to say I haven't been to UP Bihar yet, so I'm saying that. Nobody mentioned Ram Mandir. Nobody mentioned Adani, Ambani. This is the first show I am doing on Adani, Ambani because the Prime Minister, Tavleen, has mentioned them. Kaun baat kar raha tha? In fact, it looked like it was Rahul Gandhi's second attempt at a Rafale moment, something esoteric that nobody really understood. Tavleen, go ahead.
Yeah, you see, the thing is, I totally agree with you. I've been only in Maharashtra, where I actually spend a lot of time. Delhi, naturally, Lucknow area, UP, nowhere else, and Rajasthan, between Jodhpur and Bikaner, that sort of area. The only place where I saw Ram flags, it was in Rajasthan. In every village, you see these flags. But in UP, so close to Ayodhya, nobody mentioned the temple. They said people, haan ji, darshan karne ja rahe hain, lakhon log aa rahe hain, etc. But they didn't see it as an issue. To me, the issue that they brought up over and over again, one, they said, kaam kiya hai. I saw pipes being laid for water. I saw all of that happening, and they give that credit to Modi. The gas cylinders and all that sort of business. That they give, and what they really want is more vikas. So what I picked up was that if they vote for Modi, they will be doing that because they see him as someone who has done some building of basic social infrastructure, and they hope that it might happen again. But this week, Barkha, in my view, has changed everything, because you see, he looks now as though he's not that strong leader who they can rely on. Indians like a leader that they can depend on. This time, as I said to you last night, Rahul Gandhi came out as more credible and convincing than Modi. I mean, Modi sounded, he's the prime minister, and he was talking about kitna mal diya, like a kind of, Hindi movie, dialogue. I was really taken aback.
So I want to, one of the other things that pro-Modi voices mention, apart from kitna kaam kiya hai, is India's place in the world. Bahut bada hai India ka stature. So it's instructive to listen and play out what a Modi voter said to me. This was in Bhopal, a cradle, as it were, of the BJP's recent win. I did see Ram Mandir flags at different places in Madhya Pradesh. But this is how a Modi voter responded on the issues that matter to him.
इस साइड भी आते हैं, यहाँ भी देखते हैं कि यहाँ पराठे बन रहे हैं, है ना, और दीदी के पास जाते हैं, यहाँ पे है पराठा बन रहा है, और यहाँ पे देखते हैं भैया और क्या है, बुंदेली समोसा कड़ी के साथ। हाँ जी, एक मिनट देते हैं। पर ये क्या है, इसमें क्या बनता है?
ये यहाँ पर हम लोगों के आलू के पराठे, पनीर के पराठे, ये अलग विभिन्न पराठे बनते हैं, इडली बनती है।
ये ब्रेकफास्ट का? हाँ,
ब्रेकफास्ट का। सुबह सुबह से अलग 3 टाइम अलग अलग चीजें।
और आप कहाँ से हैं?
मैं यहीं से हूँ।
कौन है आगे चुनाव में?
चुनाव में आगे तो सिर्फ बीजेपी है।
मोदी जी की, मामा जी की फैक्टर बड़ा क्या है?
देखिए, मोदी जी के आगे कोई नहीं है।
अच्छा,
मोदी जी ब्रांड है और वही चल रहे हैं और वही चलेंगे।
बड़ा मुद्दा क्या है? क्या जो राम मंदिर है वो बड़ा मुद्दा है?
नहीं, राम मंदिर का मुद्दा तो अब चला गया,
हो गया।
हाँ, राम मंदिर पे तो समझ चुके लोग, लेकिन अब जो मेन मुद्दे हैं लोगों के लिए रोजगार के हैं, और ज्यादा मुख्य मुद्दा है हमारे देश में जो शांति बनी रहनी चाहिए उसका मुद्दा है, जो कि हम देख रहे हैं जब से बीजेपी आई है तब से शांति बनी हुई है।
आप पसंद करते हैं मोदी जी को?
बहुत ज्यादा पसंद करते हैं, उन्हें कौन पसंद नहीं करता है।
सबसे बेस्ट चीज क्या है उनकी सरकार के बारे में?
उनकी सरकार के बारे में सबसे बड़ी बेस्ट चीज कहना तो ये है कि अभी जो लोगों को उन्होंने मोटिवेट किया हुआ है, जो संतुलन बनाया हुआ है, वो सबसे बड़ी बात।
और एक चीज जो आपको लगे कि भाई ये बदलनी चाहिए?
सबसे पहले रोजगार की व्यवस्थाएं बदलनी चाहिए, क्योंकि जो अभी रोजगार नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, यहाँ पर लगता है बीजेपी थोड़ी सी कमजोर है।
उस पे आपको लगता है?
हाँ,
लेकिन लोग उस पे गुस्सा नहीं है रोजगार को लेकर?
देखिए, गुस्सा होने का, वैसे तो रोजगार बहुत है। जैसे मैं अपनी दुकान पे बोलूं कि मेरे को 4 कर्मचारी की जरूरत है, तो जो आज के लोगों की व्यवस्था मिल रही है उसमें वो रोजगार को व्यवस्थाएं कम कर देनी चाहिए, क्योंकि उनको ज्यादा व्यवस्था मिल रही है तो वो रोजगार पे आना नहीं चाह रहे। तो ये मुद्दा थोड़ा सा ज्यादा सुविधाएं देना।
इस बेस्ट चीज है संतुलन, और जो वीकेस्ट पॉइंट है वो कि भाई रोजगार पे और काम हो। आपका नाम सर?
मुकेश मराठा।
मुकेश मराठा।
So Mukesh Maratha says, Modi के ब्रांड के आगे कोई और ब्रांड नहीं, राहुल ईश्वर। लेकिन राम मंदिर का मुद्दा अब हो गया, चला गया, it's gone. Please talk about employment. We like the fact that you've made India seem like a strong nation. Now can you focus on jobs? I think that's the point Saba is making. There's a gap between what the BJP and RSS worker picks up on the ground and what the Prime Minister is focusing on in his speeches.
No, Barkhaji, as we know, every election has many factors. It's an underlying reality of Indian election that caste, community, class, candidate, cash, charisma, these things definitely do matter. I mean, there is a rainbow coalition. From the RSS BJP side, their belief is that there should be a grand Hindu unity, which supposedly should not be there, but supposedly with the Muslim as the villain or the other side. The left wing or the ultra left narrative is that our hum 85 or they are 15, implying the 15% forward caste are on the other side and we 85 are on the other side, where essentially my community, Brahmin, is the villain. I keep on talking where, I always say we Brahmins and Muslims should come together and we should de-villainize each other so that the whole issue of villain or the sense of other wouldn't be there. Second, as you rightly said, there are some Mehengai issues. These are left-wing spectrum issues. For right-wing, this is more regarding identity, culture, and the other things. Whether it is right or wrong, it depends on which spectrum you are. I'm a right-wing activist. So things I would focus on.
Right wing also has to feed his stomach. And
definitely, there is no doubt. But with due respect to other classes, we are more middle class. So middle class can have the luxury to talk about sanskar, language, our pride, religion, dharma. I mean, this is the honest truth. What is happening? Even in US, you see the Republican Party occupying the center right space and the Democrats occupying the center left space. So Indian right wing or the right leaning space is driven by the Hindu middle class, especially the forward caste Hindu middle class. But I genuinely believe it should not be without Islamophobia. Similarly, without a Brahmin phobia from the left liberal side. Here, one defining issue from the right wing spectrum or from Modi's perspective is there is no one grand unifying narrative that can come together. For example, in 2019, it was the Pulwama happened. 2014, Modi ji he himself was the genuine issue or the grand issue. But 2024, there is no such issue as such. And to be honest, I believe Rahul Gandhi, two occasions where Rahul Gandhi stood equal or taller than Modi ji was one when he went and hugged Prime Minister Modi in the Lok Sabha. He should have avoided the wink after. And even yesterday, he spoke really well. He spoke with a conviction with Mahatma Gandhi on its background. Modi ji has been consistently trying to patch with the Gandhians or the centrists for a long time, rightly calling all the positive things. But that space might be slipping with the creeping anti-Muslim narrative that is right now being proposed by many sections.
So a lot of people in our audience are saying, which election have people not said that unemployment is an issue? And that is also fair. Every election, you put a mic in front of somebody who's struggling, they will say, bhai, mehengai, naukri, rozgar, right? So if this is not a Hindu-Muslim election, it's not an unemployment election either, Shahid. Because as you said, there may be no wave for Modi, but there's no anger against him either. There's no surge, but there's no rage.
Barkha, you didn't get my point. What I was saying was 2019, unemployment, mehengai were not the major issues. They are always there, but they were not the major issues. There was polarization, and polarization was in favor of Modi. Mandir was an issue. In this election, it's different. Polarization is missing on the ground. Modi is trying his best to polarize. That is not working. And what I have seen, I have been speaking to people on the ground in detail, not just with a mic, a lot with them. And they say, महंगाई इसलिए है, बेरोजगारी इसलिए है कि सारा तो अडानी अंबानी ले गए. They may not be telling it to you, but at the back of their mind, the feeling is that it is because of the policies of Modi. Those who are against BJP, those who want to vote against BJP, those who are angry with Modi, at the back of their mind is that policies are in favor of few industrialists. You talk to the peasants, you talk to anybody, they feel that it is in their favor. So that they may not be articulating it in terms of Adani or Ambani, but I think
Tavleen wants to come in and then Saba.
In every speech, whether it is from Lalu Prasad or it is Akhilesh, everywhere they mention Adani, Ambani in every speech and get the maximum claps.
Shahid, you must remember that before it was Birla Tata, Sara Paisa Birla le gaya. There are always two industrialists who are the villains of the piece. This is not a phenomenon. And
Yes,
with Indira Gandhi, she had her own, I mean, I don't want to mention names, but we all know what the situation
yes,
was.
I agree.
So,
I agree. That has been the case.
on the
But
ground,
that has been the normal talk. So we are back to normal. We are not back to abnormal.
Shahid, let me just make a point. Tavleen, yeah?
Nobody on the ground. I haven't heard anyone mention.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't agree with Shahid on
So
this.
why
on
Modi
this
ji is
point.
coming out with this? Tell
this
me.
we don't
I
know.
want to know.
This nobody knows. Tavleen, any guesses?
No, Tavleen will be able to throw some light.
Why? I mean, I wish I knew who I would have advised him if I was in any kind of inner circle. If I was still a Modi bhakt, I would have said to them, "Ye kya galti kar rahe ho?" Because it really was
Tell him.
very foolish. I don't have any access to him, Shahid, believe it or not. I really don't.
I know. You are just joking.
Okay. Let's before I come to Saba, let's play out another development of today. It's an important development. You've had one of the women in the Sandeshkhali case take back her rape complaint. Okay, and I just want to play this out. I know Saba actually said that why isn't media talking more about this? Well, here we are. We're talking about all the issues that have unfolded today. Take a look at this because this is a big issue in Bengal. It may not be a big issue nationally, but it's a really big issue in Bengal. Have a look.
রেখা শর্মা সেদিন এসেছিল যে কার কার অভিযোগ আছে বলতে হবে। সে অভিযোগ বলার পরে সাদা কাগজ হাতে দিল, সাদা কাগজে ব্ল্যাঙ্ক কাগজ দিল, ব্ল্যাঙ্ক কাগজে সই করতে হবে। সই করে দিয়ে চলে গেলাম বাড়িতে। তারপরে 4-5 দিন পরে তারপরে থানার থেকে একটা নোটিশ যায়। নোটিশ যাওয়ার পর জানতে পারি যে আমরা কেস করেছি।
কি বিষয়?
ধর্ষণের কেস,
যেটা
সম্পূর্ণ মিথ্যে। ওটা আমাদের মধ্যে ঘটেইনি। ওরা ষড়যন্ত্র করে আমাদের ফাঁসানোর চেষ্টা করেছে।
কারা ফাঁসিয়েছে?
মাম পিয়ালি দাস। পিয়ালি কি করে বলতে তখন এমনি আন্দোলন করেছিল, এখন দেখতে পাচ্ছি বিজেপি করে।
আচ্ছা, এখন কি চাইছেন তাহলে?
এখন চাইছি ওর শাস্তি হোক, যে আমাদের মিথ্যে অভিনয় যে নাটক করে যে আমাদের যে ফাঁসিয়েছে ওর শাস্তি হোক। এরকম কোনো ঘটনা ঘটেইনি আমাদের মধ্যে।
আরো কাউকে কিরকম করেছে? তাদের এরকম
কাউকে করেছে কিনা আছে নিশ্চয়ই, এর মধ্যে আরো অনেকে আছে, তাদের মধ্যে ঘটেছে।
আপনি জানতেন না? আপনার কাছ থেকে
না, আমরা
সই করে নিয়ে ধর্ষণ
আমরা জানতাম না।
এখন কি চাইছেন?
এখন চাইছি যে ওর শাস্তি হোক। ও যে আমাদের এটা মিথ্যা বদনাম দিয়ে যে আমাদের কেসে যে জড়িত করেছে, যে আমরা তো কেস আমরা চালাতে চাই না, আমরা কেস করতে চাই না। তাই ও
থানায় আসলেন কেন?
আজকে থানায় ওরা আমাকে হুমকি দিচ্ছে যে মার্ডার করে দেবে। মাম্পি পিয়ালি দাস, যে আমরা কেসটা উইড্রল করে নিচ্ছি তাই আমাদের হুমকি দিচ্ছে যে মার্ডার করে দেবে, আমাদের 2 লক্ষ টাকার কেস দেবে। হ্যাঁ, অভিযোগ জানিয়েছি। আমার নাম মিতা মাইতি।
Okay, so basically there you have one of the women saying that she was made to sign a blank sheet of paper. She names a local BJP worker and she says that the rape allegation was falsified. Now, I play this out because it's one of the key developments that's unfolded today. Saba, Bengal is going to be there are going to be 3 or 4 critical states. Maharashtra, Bengal, Assam, Odisha. Can the BJP gain in the east if it's going to lose in some of the other states? And hence, this is apart from the fact that it involves women and some say a rape and others say a false rape, and now we don't know because the waters are so muddied, the political consequence of this.
So, this is credible also because if you remember, there was a sting operation, no? And I ran it through Bengali friends where this guy, BJP guy, is seen talking about how the Adhikari planned the whole fake operation. This one. And so, because I'm not familiar with I do follow a bit of Bangla because my first job is in the Telegraph, but I still ran it, the authenticity of the tape. I showed it to sent it to some Bong friends. So now the point is, this seems like the thing, Barkha, that I would look out for. Please don't go to UP and interview Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, and please don't do that. But I mean, you can interview his son. He's a candidate if you wish to, but don't interview that man. And the thing is that we have to, I think one data, Election Commission is not yet giving it. I want to see the level of women who are voting because I have no doubt that a lot of women voted for Modi. Now, some people, but they're from the opposition, are saying the women are going to vote less enthusiasm among women. Now, you think of it. You've given this ticket. Also, don't forget what's happening in Haryana. as we speak. And I know a friend of mine is soon going to put out a story in a platform which is reported that in Punjab they're not being able to, BJP can't even go to the villages. Similar situations happen in some places in Haryana. So now Haryana government is falling, they're turning against them.
And Dushyant Chautala has said today that he's willing to support a
whatever
non-BJP government.
he support this way, that way, but there is
Right.
you don't do that against a winning force, inevitably winning force. In Punjab, there were a few places one had thought earlier, but that BJP is not being able to enter those areas. Those,
But Saba, when we're talking about women,
and then you have the flood. Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
I just wanted to come back. Yeah, I wanted to come back to exactly that, the idea of the woman voter. In rural India, they still talk about the welfare schemes of the Prime Minister, right? Women in particular do talk about the welfare schemes of the Prime Minister. And I don't think that we can write that, the impact of that off based on a set of 24-hour bad headlines for the BJP.
No, not at all. In fact, I believe structurally the BJP is the much stronger party with a big lead. Yeah, but we have to, as reporters, it's our job to notice the cracks. And that is what I'm saying. What is the crack I found in UP? I entirely agree. There is no anti-Modi wave, but the cadre is also not enthused, right? That's what I found there. Cadre not enthused, voters are not enthused, and there's no Hindutva in the air. I went and asked them about Mangal Sutra. It was already stated by the time my travels took place. Nobody here's the question. Muslim का क्या लेना देना मंगल सूत्र को लेकर, because it became an experiment for me. Can I make a मंगल सूत्र story? So I would go and say मंगल सूत्र के बारे में आपको लग रहा है कि महिलाओं का मंगल, we all have our techniques, no? It became like a dark joke in my head. I'm going to ask everyone, ये कौन लेने वाला है मंगल सूत्र?
So if the cadre is not enthused by Hindutva, why is the Prime Minister, why is the Home Minister doubling, tripling down on these issues? Why now is there a government paper out on the demographics?
I think a reporter from Gujarat actually told me, but some colleague, a very good journalist from Gujarat, messaged me. What did you think? What is happening? So I said, you tell me, why is he raising all these issues? They said, because in Gujarat there have been some problems, not defeating him problems, but there are going to be anti-Modi votes also, especially in the district, I'm told, Adivasis in Banaskantha. And he gave me a list of...
Let's see. We don't... I travel...
margin of defeat. But the point is, we have to respect that there are people who will not vote for BJP. Maybe the numbers are going up.
I have to say that where I felt an overwhelming sentiment for Modi was in Madhya Pradesh and in Gujarat. And that's also where I saw the Ram Mandir flags. But there also nobody mentioned the Mandir on their own.
I'm talking about tribal areas.
Fair enough. Now, let's also remember, before I take last comments, that the Congress also has gifts that keep giving, and they're not just Sam Pitroda, they also come in the form of Robert Vadra's daily statements. Mr. Vadra, after having declared that he would like to be a candidate from Amethi, that didn't happen, has given a fresh statement saying he'd like to enter parliament through the Rajya Sabha. Now, on the one hand, you have Rahul and Priyanka on the ground saying, "Hum aapke saath hai, we're people of the, we're here with you at the grassroots." And then you have this statement. Let's take a look and then let's come back for final comments. Robert Vadra.
मैं यही कह रहा हूँ, अभी तो देखिए, मैं चाहे राजनीति में हूँ या नहीं हूँ, मेरे कदम वहाँ हो या ना हो, पार्लियामेंट में होने के वजह से ही नहीं आप लोगों की सेवा कर सकते हो। हाँ, बड़े पैमाने पे कर सकते हो, और अगर कोई आपको पॉलिटिशियन तंग ही करते रहते हैं तो आप कहोगे कि मेरे को पॉलिटिकल ही उनको जवाब देना पड़ेगा, तभी मामला स्पष्ट होगा। तो पर मैं उसके लिए नहीं आ रहा हूँ राजनीति में। अगर मैं आऊँगा तो इसलिए नहीं आऊँगा कि किसी को जवाब देना, मुझे देश में सेवा करना है। मैं लोगों के बीच में होता हूँ, मेरे को समझ है उसके बारे में, तो मैं उसको सोच के हो सकता है राज्यसभा हो, पर मेरे तो देश सेवा चलता रहेगा। आप देखेंगे मेरे सोशल मीडिया के द्वारा या जो भी है, मैं हर जगह निकलूँगा और ज़रूर रायबरेली और अमेठी और मुरादाबाद और हर जगह पहुँचूँगा और लोगों के बीच में रहूँगा। और मैं बहुत खुश हूँ, उनका प्यार मिलता है मुझे, और मैं आदर और सम्मान से मैं कुछ समय बाद ज़रूर आऊँगा राजनीति में।
I mean,
what can we say? I mean,
You know, some of the people in the audience were saying that we are very that you all are very anti-Modi panel. I wonder what they'll say at this moment when you've all burst into laughter. All four of you. All four of you. So let's start with Shahid Siddiqui. Shahid ji, aapse shuru karte hain. Shahid bhai, can we unmute Shahid?
What can I say? I mean, you can't comment on such silly, ideas. This man doesn't know what he's talking about, and he feels ignored. It seems that he feels ignored in the family, he feels ignored in the party, he feels ignored by the people, and he has got his own ideas of his own importance, but nobody really it seems to be caring about him. So there's no point in giving him importance.
But does it have a consequence? Does it have a consequence? Will people say
don't think so.
You don't think so? You think it's inconsequential? No. Rahul Eshwar?
Absolutely. Nobody even knows.
No. No, with due respect to all these people, it feels like saying, I mean, I'm a person who really wants Modi ji to win and come back maybe with a moderate sense. But, listening to this, I felt Pitroda ji to bas chhaki hai, Vadra or Iyer ji to baki hai. So definitely they will expect some kind of Manishankar. With, Manishankar ji is a great intellectual, no doubt. But Modi ji is somebody like, Travis and Abhishek Sharma who can hit any ball to anywhere. So don't give him full tosses. At least give him good bouncers and yorkers. That's something they can do. He always, being a campaign thing, I think Modi ji is the best campaigner India has seen. So Modi ji anyway will hit sixes, but don't give full tosses. Give at least yorkers so that there will be a balance.
He's not even the 12th man. So.
Saba?
So just one submission, that balance. My only submission is that balance should be brought back. But I think Modi ji will win, or Modi ji will be the leading, or BJP will be the leading party. But definitely there are spaces of hope for the India alliance.
Spaces of hope, Saba. Is there an underestimation beyond Robert Vadra and that you all had a chuckle? Is there an underestimation of the fact that people vote for Modi for many reasons? Not everybody votes for Modi for Hindutva. Some vote for welfareism. Some vote because they like a strong man. Some vote because they say man or woman. Some vote because aur kaun hai. India Alliance still doesn't have a face. Let's say that. Some vote because of welfare schemes.
So I also think in this election, what I feel is that the opposition is also, it's the people who are driving the opposition where it's there. Because structurally in a state like UP, BJP has, has state power, everything. We saw voters being beaten up also. We've seen all those visuals so far. So opposition, but I'll just say that you started off with this Ambani Adani thing. There are wild conspiracy theories during the round that it is targeted. I'm just sharing this with them. It's wild that is targeted at one consequential BJP candidate who's contesting from a seat in Maharashtra who has links to the Ambanis. It is a messaging. If there is any rational or it's just an off day where he went and said whatever he wants. There is this speculation that it was Adani का नाम ऐसे आ गया, उसका messaging उसमें है. मैं बस बता रही हूँ, these are wild theories.
But to come back to my question, is there an underestimation of the fact that people vote for the Prime Minister for many different reasons, not only Hindutva? So you can say there's no Hindutva in the air, there's no polarization on the ground, but there is still the Labharthi sort of approach to politics. There is still the cash going as a direct cash benefit. There is still the Ujjwala scheme, the toilets. There is still the sense of India's enhanced position in the world. There is still the sense of aur kaun hai.
The thing, but the vote, it's going to come at this point. It looks like it's going to come down, Barkha, and the enhanced position in the world. I have been fighting off requests to be on foreign media to talk about the odd turn. There is a story, I didn't want to get into this. Modi's links to a mass rapist. I don't want to be involved in these kind of debates in the middle of our election. So this is we are told that there is a very high image of India in the world. Is that actually so? Yeah, we are a big power and we should be taken seriously wherever we are.
I'm not talking about Western media. I'm saying voters I have met, Saba, they in urban pockets, they genuinely believe that Modi has negotiated.
Look at that is why I've been writing that it's surprising that with all this Vishwaguru status, Modi is talking like a rabble-rousing cadre. That is a fact.
Okay,
his own supporters are picture. I know, I don't mind saying what I think for all the.
Tavleen, as someone who sort of praises the Prime Minister when you think he deserves it and criticizes him when you think he deserves it. One thing you think he's done right in this campaign and one thing you think he's got totally wrong?
Well, he's got totally wrong what he's been doing this week, and the Mangal Sutra and all that rubbish, the trying to sort of, I wrote about that last week. I think that is what he's done wrong. What he's done right, what he's been doing right for the past few months since the G20 is to project himself as a real world leader, a world leader that other world leaders rub shoulders with and respect. Now, a lot of the importance of India, as you know well, is because we are the buffer against China for the West. And Modi has played that card very well. And I have to say that wherever I've gone, people say, when I say, kis vaste aap vote kar rahe ho Modi ke liye, first they'll say, ji vikas hua hai, kaam hua hai. And then they'll say, desh ki izzat badhi hai duniya.
A lot of people said that to me, including in cities like Bangalore and Hyderabad, by the way. I should say that, even in the south.
I heard that in villages. In just ordinary people saying that he has lifted the status of India. So he's run that campaign very well. Now he seems to be messing up because he's not playing with a team. You see, when you make yourself the only player, because let's face it, there isn't anyone else, then you run out of issues. And I think that's what's beginning to happen.
Well, never a day without a twist. We leave it there. Thank you so much to Saba, Tavleen, Shahid and Rahul. We continue our travels all the way to Kashmir. We'll be traveling through Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, two very critical states. Our ground reports from Maharashtra, Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh are now available on our platform. Thank you for watching. We'll come to you from another destination tomorrow as we continue the Dhabas of Democracy, our road trip from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. If you aren't a Mojo member, do sign up. The link is right below. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.
We're at the Indian mainland's southernmost tip in Kanyakumari, the confluence of the Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea and the Indian Ocean. It is from here that we're beginning our big road trip to the heart and the soul of India, Dhabas of Democracy. That's all about traveling thousands of kilometers to look at the food, the fun, the festivity, the flavors of this election, but also, of course, to tell the stories of you the people, of we the people. At Mojo Story, we have always gone to where the story is. It could be the battlefields of Israel and Gaza, it could be the conflict zone of Manipur, or it could be the sorrow and the tragedy of COVID. We think of all of you as members of our community, of our family. So, I'm urging you and requesting you today to help us tell your stories and our stories. So do become a Mojo member. Support and power our storytelling, but also get first access to our big interviews, our special ground reports, our town halls, and also have the opportunity to ask our newsmakers questions directly, as well as get published on our platform. Become a Mojo member, click on the link below, and see you soon.